can't get any worse. Podcast on blast, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, fuckers? Welcome back to another week of the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. I know what you're all thinking. You guys, I didn't hear it because it'd be kind of weird if I just played it in the room for myself. But yeah, we got a bit of an intro song at the start, which I think sounds fucking sick. So you guys let me know what you guys think of it. But we'll start the show with a bit of a shout out to one of our, I feel like he's been following for quite a while now. He's always sort of liked our Instagram posts and stuff like that. But shout out to Johnny B from Oklahoma City, all the way over in America. That's fucking insane that not only somebody is listening to me in America, that they would be willing to go out of their fucking life and spend time to come up with a theme song. So yeah, he basically sent me a DM on Instagram after my little call out last week saying if there's anyone that's more clever than I am, they can make an intro song or fucking sound bites, things like that. Shoot me a message and yeah, let's get something happening. So I think the episode dropped on Tuesday and he messaged me like Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning with a pretty sick little intro song. And then, yeah, we just went back and forth and yeah, appreciate all the effort that he put into the show to fucking give me the bright idea to even come up with something cool like that. So shout out to him. It was actually his birthday. I think it was yesterday. I'm recording this on Monday, Australia time, so let me know if I got that wrong. But yeah, thank you. Like I said, absolutely insane that somebody in America on the other side of the fucking world is coming and listening to me dribble shit once a week. So it's pretty nuts as well. America's our highest like listener audience in the analytics and shit like that. So that's also another nuts thing to go and look at every time Every now and then when I've got some time, I'll jump on and it'll be nuts to just scroll through and be like, holy shit, like 14% of our downloads this week came from India or Canada or like randomly 3 weeks ago, I said to Nikita, I'm like, what country do you think, obviously Australia owns it every week. So I said to Nikita, I'm like, what country do you think was second this week? And she knows America's been the second for ages. So she said that, but it was actually France. And I'm like, well, yeah. So I don't know the city or whatever it was in France, but it was in France, which is nuts. Like, it's crazy that no matter where you are in the world, like I'm assuming it might just be like ex-Australians and shit that have moved away and have somehow stumbled across an Australian podcast. I don't fucking know. Send me a DM like Johnny did and let's keep in touch. The last month or so, the engagement from you guys, whether it's YouTube comments, Instagram comments, TikTok comments, even just like private DMs. If you don't want your like name and shit out there, send me a DM because I'm fucking stoked. The amount of DMs I get a week now that are just like, oh, I love this part of the show or fucking you're doing good, keep it up. Like, yeah, it's nuts that you guys would go out of your way and send me shit like that. So thank you very much. Again, let me know what you guys think about that intro song. I'm going to fuck around with try and make the intro video part cooler. Been a little strapped for time this week again. We'll get to that. Don't you fucking worry. So yeah, this week I've just got the normal intro and then I've just dropped an image of the shows I've got coming up this week. So I don't know. It might even work and that might be it from now on. But I'm thinking now that we've got a fucking sick song, like we need a sick video to go with it. So, hey, Johnny, I know you're listening. I don't suppose you do like videos and shit as well. Hit me up in the DMs. Let's chat. But yeah, let me have a little sip from this. Oh, delicious. Big news for the week. And let's just get it off the top at the start. I think she might have even just blown the big secret. If people are watching on YouTube and were watching closely, you might have seen a little head walk around near my feet here. So our family made the giant decision this week that yeah, we went and got another dog. We made the decision, which was it was super rough. No pun intended. Rough. Yeah, it was super rough for us because of like that weird and over obsessive like love and shit that we had for our old dog. Like I said when she died 2 months ago, like there will never be another dog like her in the world. She was legit one of a kind, and that's been a big thing for Nikita and I, that we didn't really want to get another dog because, and that was the other thing. Like we're looking at dogs and Nikita was comparing them all to Mello, and I'm like, you're never going to get a fucking another Mello. Like she was once in a lifetime. Which, hey, good things and bad things from that. But yeah, we are last probably 2 weeks, I'd say, we've been pretty serious about it. Getting the kids all warmed up to the idea and shit like that. And a big thing we wanted to do with this one was like rescue a dog from a pound or like an adoption agency, something like that. Just a dog that needed a home, basically, instead of doing the usual. Like, of course, the cuter and funner option is to go and buy a cute little puppy that's just like, puppies are cute as fuck, obviously. Anyway, so we were looking at all these sort of, we didn't want to go over one, like a dog over 1 year old, because we still kind of wanted it to be malleable with its like bad habits and shit like that, like chewing and shitting and pissing inside, blah, blah, blah. So we developed a bit of a short list of the local pounds over the last couple of weeks of dogs. Nikita's big factor, she didn't give a fuck what the dog looked like or anything like that. She was more concerned of how many days the dog had been there and why nobody else wanted it. So that was her big ticket item as to why she wanted to pick the dog she was picking. My choice was more dogs I obviously like the look of, dogs that I think look like they'll be good with kids. My process was a lot more stricter than what Nikita was going through. So the boys were on the same page as Nikita, and they almost just wanted a sad story for a dog, which I get it. It's cool. It makes sense. If you're going to rescue a dog, rescue one that actually needs rescuing. Don't rescue like the cute puppy in the corner that's going to be adopted that day from one of the fucking 100 people that walk through. Anyway, we've developed a short list. We go to all these pounds. We're looking at these dogs, and there's one that Nikita and the boys have been obsessed with since the start. His name's Buddy. Anyone that's looking to adopt a dog, this dog, he legit, like, we went and met him. He's perfect. For whatever reason, we just didn't get that feeling that I feel like we should have got from a dog. But in saying that, I don't know why we didn't get that feeling. He was licking us. He was jumping all over us. He looked like the friendliest fucker in the world. And he's been in the pound for 3 months now, which is sad as fuck. So, yeah, if you're looking to adopt a dog, go get Buddy from the Beanley Animal Welfare. So, yeah, we didn't end up choosing Buddy. We looked at all the other ones. Again, didn't really click with them. And I was making a conscious effort to step back from the cages, and Nikita and the kids were obviously like fingers in the cage, blah, 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 like getting to know these dogs. And I was like, nah, I can't let these dogs touch me or sniff me or anything, because I was being the mature, responsible one in this whole process, right? I'm like, if I fucking let one of these dogs lick me, I'm done for. I'm going to take 10 of these cunts home. So I'm like, nah. We get to Buddy. He's the last one we look at because we thought he was going to be the one. So we left him to last. We go out. He's not even in the normal pound anymore. They've got him in an outside cage by himself. Just because he's been there so long, they've legit set up this giant cage, almost made it like a home for him, which I guess is super nice for the pound to do. And the kids are there. The kids have fallen in love with him, but I can see on Nikita's face, she obviously she'll love any dog. And she likes it and everything, but I can just see she doesn't really like him that much. And the kids go, oh, Dad, like, come and pat Buddy, let him lick you. And I'm like, nah, if I let that dog lick me, there is a 99.9% chance he's going to be in our backseat in 10 minutes. So I refrained, but just going and being near all those dogs, I was like, okay, we need a fucking dog. Like, I think I spoke about it a couple of weeks on the podcast. Like, when I go out and do shows at night and shit, I hate leaving Nikita and the kids home alone now without any form of protection. Like I said, Mello would have thrown herself in front of like a fucking train to save Nikita and the kids, which made me feel more comfortable. But again, none of these dogs really made me feel like they would do that. Anyway, long story short, we come home. Everyone's like a little bit bummed they didn't fucking get a dog. And I was a little bit bummed as well. So the kids were in the backyard or something. Nikita was chipping away, doing whatever she does around the house. And I jump on my computer and I Google like dogs that need adopting in Brisbane, something like that. And it's come up with all the welfare ones. And then I'm clicking through them. There's cute ones in there. We're like redoing a list. And then a random one from Gumtree pops up. And I'm like, oh, Gumtree's just for selling dogs, shit like that, blah, blah, blah. So I opened this Gumtree one and I'm scrolling through it. And I didn't want to tell Nikita this because for as long as I've known her, and apparently since she was a kid, the only dog she has ever wanted was a Dalmatian, right? Which I get it. They're cute as fuck. They're not a very common breed. You don't see them everywhere. But when you see one, you're like, oh my God, a Dalmatian. It's like 101 Dalmatians, blah, blah, blah. So this ad on Gumtree pops up for a Dalmatian. And the title says, 6-month-old Dalmatian puppy needs rehoming. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, let's click on it. Let's entertain it. I click on it. I start reading through the ad. This family has got this puppy, Dalmatian puppy. They thought it was going to be everything, and their life circumstances have changed. So they can no longer, they're not home enough for this dog, and they don't have the time or effort to put into this dog. So little bit sad. Like it was locked in a crate when we got there, and apparently they just said, look, she just lives in the crate now, which is sad as fuck. I understand when people use like crates for nighttime and shit like that for their dogs to sleep in. I've never done that, but I've heard people doing it. So that's all right. But for them to say like she lives in this cage her whole life, I was like, that's sad as shit. But anyway, and this family seemed nice enough. Like they seemed nice. They had 2 boys. One of their boys had autism as well. Like everything they were saying, Nikita and I were like, oh my God, did we just become best friends? But yeah, I looked at Nikita and I could just see her literally melting inside. Actually, I think I skipped a whole heap of steps. Yeah, I ended up showing Nikita the dog, right? And then she's fallen in love with it over the internet, like all the other dogs she's fallen in love with. And then the kids were having a sleepover at Mum's on Saturday. So we went to drop them at Mum's and something came out. Nikita told her or something like that. And Mum's just like, go get the fucking dog. And I was like, that was weird because whenever I wanted a dog when I was younger, it'd be a 6-month process of, I promise I'll feed it. I promise I'll walk it, blah, blah, blah. And then I'd look after it for a week and then it would get abandoned in the backyard. So it was like for Mum to just go, oh, fuck, Nikita wants a Dalmatian and these guys are looking for a dog, go fucking get it. I think that was like the switch that Nikita needed to just go, all right, let's fucking go have a look at it. So back to where I was at. We went and looked at it and yeah, Nikita fell in love. So we brought her home. It wasn't like an official rescue or anything like that, but I mean, it was a puppy that needed a home who probably wasn't getting the best life she could have had. In saying that, she's probably one of the most timid, scared dogs I've ever met. And for some reason, she's very afraid of men. And I'm not going to jump to any assumptions of potentially something's happened in the past, but she has latched to Nikita and the kids like nothing. But if I even like say her name, she'll cower in the corner, tail between the legs, and I feel bad as fuck. Like I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to patch you. Like, let's be friends. I want you to be my best friend. But yeah, we start driving home, and of course, funny story has to come from it all. We're driving home. We're literally 5 minutes from home, and this dog has farted the whole way. And they've told us, they're like, look, she's got a bit of an upset tummy at the moment. We don't know why, blah, blah, blah. And we're driving home. This dog starts farting in the car, like putrid smell. And I'm driving, and Nikita has got the dog on her lap. And she just goes, oh, that fart stinks. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely the worst one yet. And she's like, what's that on my arm? And I look over, and the only thing I can describe it as is a McDonald's soft serve machine is just curling up on Nikita's arm right here, and this dog is just shitting on Nikita's arm, and because she's got an upset tummy, it's like a little bit runny and shit. I'm fucking almost vomited. It was disgusting. So we've like pulled over on the side of the road and let her out to do her thing, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that was only sort of the... Oh, actually, there is another funny story, and this is probably going to make Ash or Adrian laugh if they listen to this. So the other big thing is they, obviously being 6 months old, the dog had a name. Its name was Isra, right? They go, the dog's name's Isra, but we call her Izzy. And instantly, Nikita and I were like, oh, Ash's dog's name was Izzy. So we can't have Izzy as well. That'd be weird. Like, even though nobody in the world would care about that, but because of my fucked up brain, I was like, nah, can't have the same dog name as someone. Anyway, Nikita and I start going through the process. We're trying to think of all these names that end in like a Y sounding end as well, like Izzy, Daisy, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we end up landing on Bailey. So we both liked Bailey, and when we said Bailey, she like responded to it, and we're like, okay. And now she's like super familiar with that name. She'll come to it, blah, blah, blah. So she's adapted to that name. So Saturday night, I'm texting Adrian and Ash, telling them, oh, we got a new dog today, blah, 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 sending them the photos as you do. And they go, oh, what's her name? So I start typing out that whole story I just told you, right? I'm typing. And as I look back up to the top of the group chat, I just see these two guys going, oh, yeah. Oh, no, I think Ash is like, oh, I wonder if they're renaming it so it suits them better. And then Adrian, I think, was like, oh, you can't rename a dog that's 6 months old. It already knows its name. Like, and then Ash is like, yeah, that would fuck its brain up if you just changed its name. And I felt so awkward that I backspaced my entire message and just wrote, her name is Bailey. So, yeah, Ash, it did have a real name. And, yes, we did change it. She has adapted to it, though. So, yeah, fun times for everyone. That's my dog story for the week. Whether or not I write a new stand-up bit on that dog, but it's... Oh, shit, my coaster just fell off. It's insane as well. We've heard her bark twice since we've had her, and they weren't even like aggressive barks or anything like that. They were just random barks. Whereas our old dog barking from dawn to dusk, like bark at anything and everything, blah, blah, blah. And we had to go do groceries yesterday, so I set one of our security cameras up inside to watch the dog and see if she barks at cars going past. Like, just obviously it's a work week. We wanted to know what to expect. And I get a notification from the garage camera saying the neighbours have just got home, and I'm like, oh shit, she's going to bark at the neighbours, blah, blah, blah. So I log on to the inside camera, and this dog didn't even fucking wake up. She just fell asleep the whole time, which basically makes the whole point of me getting her for like security void. So that sucks dick a little bit. But yeah, other than that, all in all, very happy to now have Bailey part of the family. And this is the big thing that I've noticed, right? And this is crazy for me. I don't know how the fuck this happened or how dogs do this. And we're going to get to this story after this, all right? And trust me, the podcast, once I get this story out of the way, the podcast is going to lift because it's going to be out of my head and done. So it is, I've been very angry, anxious, depressed, all that shit and I've been very sort of out there with you guys the last 9 weeks or so, right? And we're about to get to that. It was crazy. On Saturday, something happened, and I was built up with so much anger and rage. But as soon as we got this dog in the car, I don't know how, but it all just like left my body, and I just felt so calm, like relaxed and like happy and shit again, just from patting a stupid fucking like dog. I don't understand. And like, I guess that's why people with anxiety and stuff have, what do you call them? Like companions, or what? I don't even know if that's the word, but yeah, they have like companions and shit that they take to the shops to help them relax and blah, blah, blah. So Not saying I'm going to take her everywhere with me, but it's weird that dogs can do that. As soon as you pat a dog, you just calm down, you relax, everything feels okay. What the fuck is going on with this coaster today? Also, for those watching on YouTube, you're welcome. I've just noticed I'm wearing like my shortest shorts in history. So if I pop a nut, you're welcome. Give me 10% of all the OnlyFans money that comes from it. So let's get to it, eh? The big one. The last 9 weeks or so, a lot of people close in my life that listen to the podcast will know exactly what's happened, things like that. And there's a lot of people that are also going to be there's a whole heap of people that are going to be very disappointed in the way that I'm about to handle this. And there's a whole heap of people that are going to be like, good job, James. Good job for growing up and not stooping to the levels of others. Let's put it that way. So, to catch you guys up, I've touched on it a few times on the podcast that something's been happening in our lives that has just been a complete fuck around, taken more of my time and energy than it really should have at the end of the day. And that is my neighbour's retaining wall has collapsed into our yard, right? In doing that, it's taken out our fence, it's taken out one of our garden sheds, yada, yada, yada. At the moment, we've got a big fenced off area of our yard from the council when they've come and assessed. And our yard is basically a mud pit in that section, which, as you could imagine, if you walk out in your backyard every single day, can be frustrating, and you almost want to do whatever you can to fix the issue, right? Unfortunately for me, like at the start, Nikita and I were like, let's get some fucking shovels and boots on. Let's go fix this shit. Let's do whatever we need to do to get it fixed. So I did everything in my power over the last 9 weeks to get this rectified with the previous owner now to the house next to me. So the other big issue is the house next door has just sold, right? So we're in the transition period of the old owners and the new owners. So that added a whole other lot of fucking awkwardness on it. And to be fair, I originally said, do you want me to take this up with the new owners? Which I wish they were truthful with me and I could have saved the last 9 weeks of my life. But that's basically what has happened. It's obviously going to get fixed at some stage. I'm not sure when. And based on that, this episode was going to be a 1 hour fucking roast of my old neighbor. I was like I said, Saturday morning, I was filled with so much hatred and anger because they left on Friday afternoon, and then Saturday morning, one last final shot was fired, and it fucking tipped me over the edge, and I was angry. I was preparing this episode. I had text messages ready. I had fucking CCTV footage ready. I had voice recordings ready. I had the works to fucking come here and bury this cunt. But I stopped myself, and again, like I said, the dog somehow, everyone should fucking give the dog a round of applause right now. She came in and, yeah, like I said, just all that anger and shit just left my body. And yeah, fuck, I'm trying to remember where I was up to just then. But one sec. My fucking TV is glitching out, and we are going to get back to this. Sorry, that has not happened before. Let's hope that doesn't affect the rest of the episode. Anyway, yeah, Bailey came into my life. That sounds fucking so lame to say, but anyway. And also in that process, the new family moved in on Saturday, who now have to deal with this entire issue, and I feel so fucking bad for them. And I went and had a chat to him yesterday, Sunday, and the shitstorm, not only of the wall, but of just so many other things that this person, I don't even want to call him like a man or something. Like, this dude has left this now family that should be an exciting moment for them to move. I think they're like a family of 5 or 6 or something like that. Like, this should be a good moment for them to just move into their new family home. Should be exciting, blah, blah, blah. And for me, I feel like I got the good end of the stick. If I just had to go 9 weeks of going back and forth with this fuckwit, I came off pretty well, considering to now what an innocent family has to go through to deal with his small-minded, small man syndrome, to try and fuck with someone else's life. But yeah, to paint a picture again, Nikita was scared to be here the end of last week. Like, she was looking at hotel rooms to go and stay at from like Wednesday, Thursday last week, just because it was so uncomfortable, and just like walking out our door, just getting shit like words hurled at us and shit. Like, grow the fuck up. Like, we're all in our 30s. We've all got kids. Like, we all need to move on. So, and that's another big thing that made me decide to handle it this way, rather than a big fucking call-out dick measuring contest. I sort of stopped yesterday, I guess, Sunday. I was at the gym, and I thought about how I wanted to handle all this. And I thought about, like, obviously I've said it on the podcast multiple times, I'm trying to better myself and further myself in life. And a big part of that is, like, fixing fucking my anxiety, my depression, bettering myself in life, trying to make people fucking happy and laugh and shit. Like, that's like, yeah, I might touch on this again after, so let's put a pin in that one. But yeah, just to look at myself and go, okay, at the end of the day, do I really want to stoop down to that level and go back and forth and, like, what? I fire another shot and then he comes back with something else, and it never fucking ends. So I just thought I'd move on. I deleted them from, like, all my socials and shit, and I feel so much better just knowing that I can't see what they're doing, they can't see what I'm doing, because the last thing they did on Saturday was take a stab at me on social media. Like I said about last week's YouTube comments, it wasn't a good fucking stab or anything like that, but I was just stoked that in a moment that should have been happy and exciting for their family moving into their new home, he somehow still, instead of just going, this is great for my family, he spun it back on me. So I got a shout out on someone's house purchasing post. So that's pretty cool. That's never happened to me before. Let me know if that's happened to any of you guys. But yeah, another big thing on top of me trying to better myself was also seeing how, like, Westy, and Parker's probably too young to pick up on it, but Westy the last couple of weeks he's like spoken to Nikita and I about, because Nikita and I have not argued this much about anything in fucking years. So from the start, I've wanted to handle this how I've wanted to handle it, and it's probably not the best way to handle it, let's be honest. So Nikita's very patient and understanding of people, blah, blah, blah. So 95% of the messages from my text phone to this particular my text messages from my phone to this person are from Nikita, because she didn't like anything that I was typing. Anyway, back to Westy. Westy had a chat to us. He's like, I don't like you guys arguing this much. He's like, oh, Dad, I don't like it when you're angry and shit like that. And when your, like, 7-year-old comes up to you and says shit like that, it fucking crushes you, especially when you're trying to make yourself somebody who's out there in the world trying to make people happy and give people a laugh, you know what I mean? Like, to look back on yourself and realize in your own 4 walls of your house, you're not doing that to the people that matter the most, like your wife and kids and shit like that. And already, from Saturday afternoon to now, like, the house has been the happiest it's fucking been in 9 weeks, let's say that. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything, like, there was something else I wanted to bring up, but it's just, like I said, it's just not worth it. Yeah, nah, I'm not going to bring it up, and I'm sorry I'm not going to bring it up to you guys, but I know that I've handled this a lot better than what I was going to, And again, it'd just be digging back further than 9 months ago to 2 years ago when this happened and tipped me off about them. But anyway, this podcast, especially like since I've been doing it solo, but not only that, from the very beginning to go back and listen to like episode 1 where I was just like, my voice was cracking and shit because I was so nervous to be in front of a microphone, like talking to people about shit that's happened in my life, to now, it's crazy that potentially in like 20, 30 years, I can go back and almost treat the podcast like a diary. And I'd hate to go back and listen to episode 87. Oh, yeah, fuck, that's funny. I remember when you had that sick paid gig. That was a good moment. You felt good about yourself. Then get to episode 88 and it's just a big fucking tantrum session. Just like me reading out text messages, which I bet would have been boring as fuck for you. It would have been exciting for the first 10 minutes when I was just filled with rage and you guys would have like got the inside scoop as to what's been happening in my life and shit. But I'm sure by like minute 20 to 30, you cunts would be like, all right, like talk about your dick or something. Like, and that's why I didn't want to kick off with this. I thought I'd come in with a few more things, drop this in the middle and then move on to other shit. So yeah, that's what's been happening. Like I said, onwards and upwards from here, feeling a lot better. Not only in myself, but in like everything else going on in my life. Yeah, like this situation has cost me work in my day job because I've had to be around the house more, not only for safety, but for meetings and shit like that are now a waste of fucking time because none of that is happening. So I've lost work from it, lost money from it, obviously. Nikita and I have argued so much about this shit, and I've also lost stand-up gigs because of it. Again, I've addressed this earlier on the podcast. One thing I definitely didn't want to be known for is pulling out of gigs. And up until now, up until before all this kicked off, I'd only pulled out of one gig for a family emergency, right? And in this 9-week process, I think I've pulled out of 3 gigs just because either Nikita has said she doesn't feel safe being here alone with what's going on, or I personally have not felt good about leaving Nikita and the kids here with what's happening. So that's that. It's all in the past. Moving forward, new neighbours seem like fucking sick cunts, so that's good. Again, feel so fucking bad for them, but unfortunately, it is what it. This coaster is giving me the shits, eh? That's going to drop and the mic's in the way. Oh, she stayed there. Let's get happier in this. Actually, the next story I was going to touch on. Let's go happy and then let's go back to fucking weird and fucked up, hey? So the kids, I've got a story from each kid this week. My oldest son, Westy, he at his school at the moment, there is he's got his first like story in his schooling of like the legend of Westy is born. Hang on, I didn't even have a sip of this. So we picked him up from school the other day. He takes a soccer ball or a football or a basketball to school every fucking day, right? As a little boy does. It's what you do. We get to school pickup, we pick him up, and instead of his soccer ball that he went to school with, he just has the black inside of the ball, like the bladder that you pump up, right? And this thing's like exploded twice its size. We're like, oh, what happened here? But before Westy could come to us and tell us, normally Westy sprints up to us every afternoon, but the cockiness in this dude's head now that he's become a legend in his school ground, he strolls up to us, and before Westy could get to us, 2 or 3 of his other little mates are like, oh, you should have seen what Westy did today. He kicked the soccer ball so high and hard that in the air, the skin of the soccer ball just peeled off it, and then this black ball just came down. And I'm like, no, it fucking didn't. No, nobody can kick a ball that hard that the skin of the ball fucking peels off and the bladder of the ball just comes and lands on the ground. But I don't know if Westy got some scissors before lunchtime and he like cut the ball so there was a slice in it or something. But I was like, fucking, what has this kid done? He's a compulsive liar, just like his dad. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. The legend of Westy is born now, that he can kick a ball so hard that the skin will fall off. The other one, not so funny. My youngest son, Parker, we were bored on, when was it? Oh, Thursday, Anzac Day. So public holiday for everyone. We decided to take them to, there's like a little beach area at Jacob's Well. Anyone that lives near me will know it. It's got like a fenced off area so sharks and shit can't get in, blah, blah, blah. So the kids are playing there and we had to park fucking ages away. Obviously being a public holiday, everyone had their boats out, everyone had their jet skis out, everyone was fishing, blah, blah, blah. And we just innocently wanted to have a quick dip, cool off, etc. Now, we're walking through the car park to the beach and it's packed and we see what can only be described as a morbidly obese man, like morbidly obese, not just chubby, not just fat. He was waddling. He was a thick man, right? Anyway, the car park is pretty tight with cars parked beside each other. And this dude has gone behind this silver Corolla and he's tried to like scoot past it. And I don't know why this was even a thing, but the back windscreen wiper on the Corolla was up. Like, I don't know if someone played a prank on him. And this fat dude, just as he was squeezing past, snapped this windscreen wiper off and it fell on the ground. And I've slowed down as if to say, are you going to write a note or something and put it on this guy's bonnet so he knows who's wrecked his windscreen wiper? But as I've slowed down, my youngest son, Parker, who I'm carrying, looks at the old man and says, oh, I think he broke the windscreen wiper because he's so fat. And I've gone, holy shit. And the dude like would have heard him. So I've started power walking now. I'm like, I'm sorry. If you had a silver Corolla at the Jacobs Well boat ramp on Thursday, and your back windscreen wiper is gone, check the CCTV footage for the fat man. The fat man broke it. Anyway, that's my kid stories. On to what I thought was going to be the most hectic story of the week on Wednesday. This happened Wednesday. I attend the gym at 4:30 in the morning. Like you guys know, I do. I'm in the gym. It's coming towards the back end of my workout, right? And out of nowhere, like I'm pretty familiar with everyone that goes to the gym that time of the morning. Every now and then you'll have a new face that maybe they're visiting the gym. They've come to check it out compared to their other gym because it's a Good Life Health Club, so you can access all the good lives in Australia. So if I see a new face, I'm just like, they must be checking it out they're either in the area or they're looking at making a change from their normal one, which happens pretty commonly, right? But Wednesday morning, I see this dude snake his way in behind someone who scanned their card because it's 24 hours that early. And he snaked his way in and this dude is 110% homeless, which there's a big issue in our area. We've spoken about it before, but he's got the rattiest long pants, long shirt, and he's got one, I don't know what you call them, but they're like, people wear them when they're fishing and shit, but they're like a neck scarf and you can pull them up over your face if it's windy and shit. He's got one of them on, but he doesn't have it over his face. And he's old. He's probably, I don't know. Let's say he's in his 50s or 60s, something like that. And he's not in a good fucking way. And he walks straight from the door to like the office area where the staff check in and shit like that, which not really anyone that attends the gym should be there. And I was like, that's tick number one. That's weird as fuck. So I'm keeping an eye on him. And this particular day, the bag racks were full. So I had to put my bag over towards that area because I thought it'd be safe. And I got my wallet and keys and shit in there. So I sort of stop and I start doing workouts near there where I can watch him. And then he starts going through like the kitchen, pulling drawers out, trying to find whatever he can find. And then he walks past my bag and he has a little like sneak peek into it, but he doesn't touch it. And I'm like, okay, if he touches it, I'm going to have to go and say something, right? And at this stage, there's me and two other guys that come to the gym same time every day. We're looking at each other, almost having a conversation through our eyes of, are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? If shit goes down, we're going to fucking have each other's back sort of thing. As much as none of us want that to happen, and like we were staying out of it as much as we could because obviously you don't know what anyone's capable of these days, especially like a couple of weeks ago, the whole thing in Sydney, things like that. Anyway, this dude ends up going in the change rooms and I'm like, oh, fuck. And it was time for me to get changed for work. And I'm like, I don't want to be alone in this change room with this cunt. So I waited like 2 to 3 minutes to see if he's going to come out. He wasn't going to come out. So I'm like, fuck it. If I don't go in there and get changed, I'm going to be late to my meeting. So I go in there just as I'm going in. He like walks out just before. And I'm like, that's weird. So I've stopped and I've watched where he's walked. He's walked to the center of the gym, looked around and just stood there. And I'm like, okay. And at this stage, the two guys I was looking at, they were still out there. So I'm like, oh, well, they've got eyes on him if he does anything. I've walked in the change rooms and I've noticed some poor bloke has left his bag there to go and do his workout, obviously because the bag rack was full. So he's like, I'll just leave it in the change rooms. As I've walked back out to almost, I guess, confront this guy with these two other guys as to what he might have taken out of there, these two guys go, he just fucking bolted out the door. And I go, fuck. So we've asked around a few people. Nobody seemed to own this bag, so we didn't know what was up. And yeah, other than that, I don't know fucking what was stolen, if anything was stolen. But yeah, it sucks that it's like so many bad people in the world. I think that's what's coming from this episode. There's a lot of shitty people in this fucking world. And at the end of the day, you can only do what you can do to make yourself better. And that touches on the motivational clip of the week. So put a pin in that bad boy because we'll be coming back to that. I'm just getting my fucking laptop skitching out again. But that's enough of my personal life. I don't even know what we're up to now because let me try and do some quick maths on the clock over there. I think we've been going for about 40 to 45 minutes. But I hit record and then I forgot I had to let the dog out because I forgot I had got a dog now. Did I mention that? That's pretty cool, isn't it? Let me have a little sip here. So, a couple of newsworthy moments for the week, I suppose. This should have been last week, actually, but it slipped my mind, or I ran out of time. I don't even fucking remember. Taylor Swiftie, dropped a new album, and it took me, I listened to it the day it came out, and it didn't grab me. Normally, Taylor Swift can release anything, and I know it's fucking lame as a 32-year-old man to say out loud, like, I'm a Swiftie, but I don't know. From following her when she was a little country artist to where she's at now, I just got to follow whatever she does, basically. Listen to this album. 31 fucking songs, by the way. When does someone have time to listen to 31 songs? So, listen to it. Didn't grab me the first time. I'm like, that's weird as shit. Like, there are a couple of songs that jumped out that I was like, oh, okay, maybe add them to the playlist. But as an album, I wasn't stoked. So, a few days later, I was like, nah, I've got to listen to this again. Surely there's a reason. Because I was looking at Instagram and shit, and a few like Swifties online were saying, oh, it's a fucking sick album. We love it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I must have fucking missed something. Like, what is going on? So I've listened to it the next time, and I'm like, actually, yeah, like some of these songs are better than I originally thought. Again, a few more songs jumped out at me, and I'm like, oh, okay, add those ones to the playlist. And then I was bored the other day while I was like quoting and shit, so I put it on for a third time, and yeah, not every song is a fucking banger on it, but I think Ash worded it pretty well. The first time I listened to it, he said that it almost sounds like it's just 31 songs of one song. Like every song just sounds the same. But when you go back and listen to it, you can tell the differences. You can fucking blah, blah, blah. But my two picks, if you're going to listen to any of the two songs on that album, were Florida, who features Florence and the Machine, who I used to love them back in the day. They've got one of my favourite live performances with Dizzy Rascal at Glastonbury. If you haven't seen that duet, that is sick. I think it's called We've Dirty Love, or We've Got the Dirty Love, or something like that. That was back in like 2009 or something. So that's for all us oldies out there. Obviously not as old as Adrian and Ash, but we're getting up there. We're getting up there, aren't we? So yeah, that's that one, Florida, and I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. That's probably the boppiest one on the whole album. But yeah, there's a line on that. I think I like that song so much for this one line, and she goes, what is it? Fuck, it's like I act like I'm so depressed, like it's my birthday, and I'm like, oh my god, because my most hated day of the year is my birthday, like. The one day where everyone pretends to be your mate and shit like that and go, oh, happy birthday, mate. And then you've got to go out of your way to go, oh, thanks so much, mate. And then like, oh, we should catch up one day. And you never fucking catch up. Anyway, that shit pisses me off. And I think that's why I like that song, just for that one line. But yeah, the other, what do you call it? Like a cultural thing that I've taken part in this week, sort of my movie of the week, if you will, even though it's not a movie, it's a TV series. I dabbled in a Netflix series, which is in the top 10 at the moment. And some of you might have seen it. It's called Baby Reindeer. And the description caught me because it's about a comedian, or a dude trying to make it as a comedian, and he gets this stalker. And it just sounded like a cool little story. It was in the top 10. Everyone on TikTok and shit's raving about it. So I gave it a watch. Nikita and I got 2 episodes in, and I don't know. It just wasn't clicking for me, like the dogs at the pound. It was half interesting, but it didn't catch me. And the funny thing is, Nikita hated it from 20 minutes into episode 1. She's like, this isn't for me. She starts playing on her phone, doing whatever she's doing, fucking around. And if there's one thing about Nikita, she can't start a TV series or a movie or something and not finish it. So now I think she got up to episode 4. I fell asleep after episode 2. I don't even know how many episodes are in it, but she's like, I fucking hate you. Like, now I have to waste my time seeing how this shit ends for something that I could not give 2 fucks about. So I thought that was pretty funny. I think I'm going to start just like researching extremely shit TV series that have like 30 like seasons, and then just be like, oh, we should watch this, and then just watch the first episode with her, and then just watch her life crumble for the next 6 months as she spends every spare minute of the day she has watching a TV series that she fucking hates. But yeah, that's basically all the movies and music and shit that I had for the week. So normally around this stage, I'd talk about my week in comedy, which, as I said last week, I didn't tee up any gigs for this week because I was hoping to do a whole heap of writing. And guess what? Guess what, everyone? You'll never fucking guess. I'll give you 3 seconds to try and guess. 1, 2, 3. Holy shit, you all guessed it. I did not write a fucking thing this week. Mainly due to the anxiety, depression, and other shit that we touched on previously on this episode. And I would like to take this moment out to thank you all if you've got this far in this episode, because even just at the start of the episode, knowing that I had to touch on it and then touching on it in the episode, it's just bummed me out again. So once this episode's done, I'm going to go pat my dog again and get out of this fucking funk. But I'm glad that it's done. That's out of my life now. Onwards and upwards to happier things. So thank you for sticking with me on this episode. At this stage, like I said, I don't want to get back in 20 years and listen to episode 88 and be like, shit, James was a bummer that episode. But been a bit of a bummer. I'll call myself out there for it. But yeah, week in comedy. Didn't write anything. Didn't go to any gigs. Just a fucking waste of a week at the end of the day. 1 sec. Which leads us to, I think I said again last week that if I don't come to the table with a premature premise this week, then call me out on it. Because I didn't write anything, I don't have a fucking premise. So call me out. Call me out in the comments. Let's hear your worst. 1 sec. Just going to sit up a little bit because, like I said, these shorts, I don't think I'll wear these again on the podcast unless I forget like I did today and accidentally wear them. But, actually, that was one thing that I wanted to touch on. There was a big thing on the Gold Coast this week, and anyone else that listens to Australian podcasts would be all fucking over it. So what was called the Podcast Royale happened on Saturday night down the Gold Coast. So it was heavily led by the Alpha Blokes. Again, if you listen to Australian podcasts, you know who the Alpha Blokes are. They dominate Australian podcasting at the moment. Spoken to both Cam and Tommy in the podcasting journey that I've been on. They've both said a couple of things to give me some ideas and shit like that. And I've tried hard over the last couple of years to get them on while they've been in Brisbane or the Gold Coast. But obviously, as you know, those boys are up to their fucking neck in paperwork and got their fingers in every possible pie you can attempt. So good on the boys for having a crack. But basically, all the other big podcasts in Australia jumped on this boxing card. They put a bit of a boxing card together and they all fought each other. And hats off to everyone that got in the ring that night, because at the end of the day, much like me, nobody on that card was a boxer or a fighter or anything like that. They all started training when they got the idea and then went in there Saturday night and punched the fuck out of each other at the end of the day. So hats off to them. Big achievement to sell out the Gold Coast Convention and Entertainment Centre between a bunch of podcasters. Like, it's pretty nuts that people behind a mic like this can just fucking shoot shit and then make a giant event like that happen. And I would give my left nut to be able to do anything like that in the future. Funny story. I'm not going to claim that I came up with the whole Podcast Royale or anything like that. But before these guys, all this went down, I think it was like November 2021. I was listening to an Alpha Blokes episode and Cam said on there, he's like, I reckon I've got like one good fight left in me in my life. He's like, we might do like a charity event. Fucking, I'll get in there, fight some like Joe Schmo and then blah, blah, blah. So when I heard that on the episode, I shot him a message on Instagram and I'm like, mate, you don't know who the fuck I am. Nobody knows who the fuck I am. But I just heard your sort of chat about having a fight on your podcast. I go, I don't train or anything. I'm an overweight dad from Logan. I do a shitty podcast that has 0.111% of the listeners you have. But I'd be stoked if you do need an opponent to come up and jump in the ring with you. To which I think he just liked the message and didn't respond, which is fair enough. I'm a nobody. But since then, sent a couple of DMs and shit like that he actually has responded to, which is sick. So yeah, again, hats off to anyone that did jump in the ring that night. Actually, a premature premise did just pop in my head. And it's not a funny one. Again, I'll probably never say this on stage. But this popped in my head this week while I was driving. And most of the stuff I listen to in the car is like rap and hip-hop, shit like that. And this is a shitty premise. And again, it's probably been killed to death in New York and LA and shit like that. I haven't heard anyone in the Brisbane Gold Coast scene that I'm in say this. But I could almost guarantee somebody's put their own spin on it. So, premature premise for the week for you all. Everyone talks about like white privilege and things like that, but it must be so freeing as a black man to listen to your favorite hip hop and rap songs and be able to sing along to all the lyrics. So I thought that was pretty funny when I came up with it in my car. But again, I'll probably never take it to stage because it's probably overworked and someone will come and watch me one day and go, oh my God, Bill Burr did that in 1993 and you're a fucking joke thief. And then all this will be for nothing. But yeah, that'll take us to our motivational clip of the week. Like I said, this one, this seemed pretty relevant for the week I've had. So this is from the great Jocko Willink. Again, this man came to me from the Rogan universe. First time I heard about him was on Joe Rogan's podcast. I think he's an ex-Navy SEAL. And this dude is just fucking, like I said, Tim Kennedy last week. This dude is like another epitome of being a badass. One of my favorite videos of all time. If you go on YouTube and type in Jocko Willink good, I might even play that for next week's motivational clip of the week. I'll play that whole video. I think it's like a 3-minute video or something. Actually, I don't even think it's that long. But anyway. Or maybe we'll end this podcast with it. Let's do that. Because I think we've got time looking over there at the clock. So I'll play this from Jocko right now.
You can't control other people. You can't make them what you want them to be. You can't make them who you want them to be. The only person you can control is you. So focus on making yourself who you want to be. Faster, stronger, smarter, more humble, less ego. Discipline your body, free your mind.
So I thought that was pretty fitting that you can't control anyone else. You can just focus on you. And that's a big reason why I sort of handled that whole drama of just basically my side of the story. So yeah, let's finish on this one because this pumps me up every time I fucking hear it. Again, if you're an early listener of the podcast, I still don't have YouTube Premium, so there's probably going to be an ad.
On Fiverr, you can find high-quality free...
Yes, there's an ad. So let's mute the ad, and then let's go there. I don't know, for YouTube listeners, I don't think I can add this to the to the video because I don't have it downloaded. But anyway, audio listeners, you'll like this. Let's go. Oh, fuck. I still had it muted. One sec. Sorry about the rigmarole. This is unplanned. This is just, we're flying by the seat of our pants. Ready? Let's go.
One of my direct subordinates, one of my guys that worked for me, he would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, boss, we got this and that and the other thing. And I'd look at him and I'd say, good. And finally one day he was telling me about some issue that he was having, some problem. And he said, I already know what you're going to say. And I said, well, what am I going to say? He said, you're going to say good. He said, that's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say good. And I said, well, yeah. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get funded. Didn't get the job you wanted. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Got tapped out? Good. Got beat? Good. You learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution. That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out. Don't get startled. Don't get frustrated. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Let's fucking go. I don't know about you guys, but I needed that for this episode, and I don't think I could have finished this episode anything better with the fucking depressed drama-filled monotone voice that I've got today. So, yeah, thank you, Jocko, for pulling us out of the shit, and that's actually pumped me up to go and fucking do what I got to do today. So, appreciate all you guys for listening. I fucking promise I will be back next week with a happier, positive attitude, with some hilarious fucking stories for you guys. I'll also have a premature premise of the week. I guarantee it, because I'm going to write right after this fucking episode, and hopefully every other day this week. And yeah, I've also got a gig this week. So let's plug my fucking gigs and let's get the fuck out of here. So I have a gig this Wednesday the 1st of May at Six Tricks down at Mermaid Beach. I've never done it before. First time there. So if any of you guys want to tag along, come have a look. Might have some new gear, but seeing as I came off the back of a week of no gigs last week, I might play it relatively safe, but see how we're feeling on the day. See what sort of shit I write over the next couple of days, and yeah, we'll go from there. But if you want to come check it out, come down, have a look, Mermaid Beach. Other than that, keep touching base with me. Like I said at the start of the episode, send me DMs, send me comments, send me fucking anything. I'm absolutely fucking loving the communication between me and you guys at the moment. And yeah, like I say, every episode, share it to anyone that you think might like this shit. Maybe don't share this episode, but share a happier one, share a funnier one. And yeah, let's grow this shit. Much like the new intro song says. I don't even remember the exact words, so let's not quote it right now. But thank you very much. I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. It's all